Introduction to freedom. The concept of freedom has been a topic of profound philosophical inquiry for centuries. Various experts, thinkers, and authors have sought to define what it means to be truly free, and among these voices is Mateo Balaban, whose insightful quote posits, "The key to freedom lies in the liberation from possibility." This idea reverberates with nuance and invites exploration into what liberation from possibility may entail and how it might foster a deeper understanding of freedom. This essay seeks to unravel the implications of Balaban's assertion, examine the nature of possibility, and explore how this liberation could lead to a more authentic experience of freedom. To fully comprehend Balaban's statement, it is first necessary to dissect the terms involved, chiefly freedom and possibility. Freedom, at its essence, can be perceived as the power or right to act, speak, or think as one chooses without hindrance or restraint. However, in a contemporary context, it is often intertwined with notions of choice, agency, and autonomy. It is generally understood that with each choice comes a multitude of potential outcomes. This terrain of possibilities can be both liberating and overwhelming. In examining Balaban's notion of liberation from possibility, we encounter a paradox. How can freedom be achieved through the relinquishment of potential paths? Possibility denotes the realm of what could happen. It beckons with promises of unturned stones and roads not taken. It suggests the infinitude of choices before us, often leading to an excitement that is synonymous with freedom itself. However, an overemphasis on possibilities can result in a phenomenon known as analysis paralysis, where individuals find themselves so inundated with options that they are unable to make decisions. This is particularly evident in the age of information where choices are abundant, yet their overwhelming nature can constrain rather than liberate us. Herein lies the crux of Balaban's assertion. If freedom is entangled with possibility, the liberation from it can lead to a more profound experience of what it means to be free. To elaborate on the liberation from possibility, one can turn to the philosophical domain of existentialism. Existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre have famously addressed the burdens of choice and consequence, asserting that individuals are condemned to be free. This condemnation arises from the weight of responsibility that accompanies freedom. Every choice creates ripples in reality, often leading to anxiety about the paths not chosen. Kierkegaard introduced the concept of the leap of faith, which speaks to the necessity of making a choice despite the inherent uncertainty. This act of commitment can be seen as a means of liberating oneself from the tyranny of endless possibilities, allowing the individual to step into their freedom. Furthermore, the act of embracing a singular path or decision can serve as a powerful antidote to the paralysis that often accompanies too many choices. For instance, take the disciplines of art or creativity. Artists often face the daunting prospect of infinite possibilities when creating a work. The overwhelming selection of colors, styles, and mediums can stifle their creativity. However, many artists find freedom in constraints. By setting limitations on their choices, they can explore their creativity more deeply. This resonates with Balaban's quote, "By binding oneself to a specific path, one may find inspiration and freedom in the constraints of a chosen pursuit." The realm of psychology also provides insight into the balance between choice and freedom. The concept of maximization versus satisficing comes into play here. Maximizers seek to make the best possible choice among all available options, often leading to dissatisfaction and regret. In contrast, satisficers look for an option that meets their needs adequately, allowing them to move on without feeling overwhelmed by the weight of potential outcomes. This distinction highlights that liberation from the pressure of endless possibility can lead to a more sustainable form of contentment. By embracing a pathway that leads to a sufficient outcome rather than the perfect option, individuals can experience a sense of freedom from the burden of choice. Exploring the relationship between Balaban's quote and mental well-being is also crucial. The modern world perpetuates the belief that more choices equate to greater freedom. However, this assumption can be misleading. Studies in behavioral economics have demonstrated that an abundance of choices may lead to increased anxiety, stress, and even dissatisfaction. In considering the social aspect of freedom, Balaban's statement presents another layer of complexity. The liberation from possibility can also be understood as moving beyond societal expectations and pressures to conform to certain pathways of life. In contemporary society, individuals often feel compelled to follow a predetermined trajectory, such as pursuing a particular career, achieving certain milestones, or adopting popular beliefs. Such societal constructs can stifle true freedom, as they create a box from which individuals feel compelled to choose. The notion of liberation from possibility can also resonate with spiritual teachings. Many spiritual traditions advocate for living in the present moment with a focus on surrender and acceptance. The Buddhist concept of non-attachment serves to illustrate this well. Here, relinquishing the need to control or desire the multitude of possibilities can lead to a state of inner peace and clarity. By letting go of the incessant drive to navigate various potential scenarios, individuals can find freedom in their connection to the present. In practical terms, how does one go about achieving this liberation? It may begin with recognizing the paralysis that can arise from excessive choice. Practicing mindfulness can enable individuals to become aware of the mental chatter that manifests from an overwhelming number of possibilities. Moreover, narrative therapy elucidates how reframing one's relationship with possibilities can lead to empowerment. By reinterpreting narratives surrounding choice, seeing setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than failures, individuals can better navigate their journey towards liberation. In recognizing that choices are not static, but rather part of an evolving narrative, one can embrace the experience of freedom in unfolding paths rather than suffering from the weight of potential outcomes. In conclusion, Mateo Balaban's insightful quote, "The key to freedom lies in the liberation from possibility," invites substantial reflection on our understanding of freedom, the exploration of choices, the weight of societal pressures, and the influence of mental well-being intertwine with the essence of what it means to be free. Engaging deeply with these nuances reveals that embracing a path complete with limitations and singular choices brings forth a more profound sense of authenticity and fulfillment. True freedom may not reside in the endless expanses of possibilities, but rather in finding peace and agency in the choices we make. As we learn to navigate the landscape of our lives, it is the act of choosing and liberating ourselves from the burden of everything that could be that ultimately unlocks the door to a life characterized by freedom.